Hello everyone, for those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Abby Medeiros. I am a certified personal trainer, and today I'm going to be debunking 15 fitness myths. Now, some of these might be completely just wrong, others of them might have some sort of truth to them, but today I'm going to be debunking them for you guys, so stay tuned. And before we get started, thank you so much for clicking this video. If you end up liking the video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and also, if you want to see more fitness content from me, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Now, onto the video. Now, I've heard a lot of these myths just from being involved in fitness in general and kind of from what I've learned in my personal training when I had to do the self-studying for it. Starting out with the first myth that I hear a lot is that you can spot reduce fat. And honestly, that just isn't true. So when you lose fat on your body, you lose it all over the place. You can't just lose it on your midsection and you can't just lose it on your arms. You have to lose it all over. You won't be losing it in just one part of your body. That's kind of not really possible. I'm going to get into something similar like this later on, but you can't just do a bunch of sit-ups and expect to have a six-pack. This next myth is that lifting weights will make you bulky. Now, this one kind of depends on a bunch of different factors. One of them being the gender that you were born with, and then the other is your height. Now, the reason that your gender that you were born with plays a role into this is because of the hormones that you have in your body. And the reason that men tend to bulk up more than women do is because they have the hormone testosterone in their body more than us females do. Testosterone is the hormone that will make a person bulk up. So aside from hormones, when someone is taller, let's say they are 6 feet tall, they're going to have a harder time bulking up like a bodybuilder would want to because their limbs and everything is longer than someone who's, let's say, 4'10". So the main thing here is that if you are a female, you will not bulk up like a man would. A good rule of thumb is that when you're able to lift a weight 12 times, easily, like 2 times in a row without much effort or too much strain on the body, then you're able to increase that weight by 5% or whatever you have lying around that's the next weight up. I say this because I know certain machines at the gym don't increase exactly by 5% each time. So sometimes you might have to go up to the next weight. This next myth that I've heard is that it's better to work out in the morning compared to night. And this just isn't true in the sense that you'd think. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. The best time to work out is when you're able to. Let's say that you're a morning person and you like waking up early and working out. That's great, that's good, you do you, boo. Now, let's say you have a busy morning, not enough time, or you're just a nighttime person, then work out when you're able to. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. and do a 5-mile run. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to wake up that early. Me personally, I am a night owl. I would rather work out at 9 o'clock at night once I've gotten everything I've had to for the day done compared to working out before I get everything done. Now, if you want to work out in the morning because you want to just clear your mind or you just want to start out the day like that, you can do that. There isn't really a rule saying that you have to work out in the morning. Whatever time works for you. If noontime during your lunch break works, perfect. Nighttime before you go to bed, do that. But just remember, you don't have to be an early morning riser in order to work out. Now, this next fitness myth that I've heard is that by lifting weights, your fat turns into muscle. And fat cannot turn into a muscle because they are two separate tissues. When you are lifting weights and you're gaining muscle, your fat does not convert itself into a muscle. Now, the reason that when you're lifting weights and gaining muscle, you lose body fat because muscle burns body fat. So remember, they are two separate tissues. One does not turn into the other. By lifting weights and gaining muscle, that will burn the fat off of your body. This next myth is that you didn't train hard enough if you're not sore the next day. And this is not true. And also, please remember for these that everyone is different. Everybody was built differently. Everybody was made differently. So some people might feel sore and some people might not. But from what I've learned, there are 2 different types of muscles. One of them is the global muscle, and then the other one is the local muscle. The global muscles are the muscles that are the larger ones in your body, and the local ones are kind of like the core or foundation muscles. Global muscles are used more for strength, and think of the local muscles as the strength of your whole body in a way. Local muscles are also the ones that help us in our daily activities. The feeling of being sore after a workout could mean that your global muscles, the big muscles, are being overworked. This can also be a sign that your body isn't being supported enough by your local muscles. If you do want to improve your core, foundation, or just stability muscles, I'm going to include a link below to an article posted by ACE of 7 exercises to do so. This next one that I've heard my whole life is that you lose weight by doing cardio. When people are seeking to lose body fat, they typically think that in order to do so, you have to do a ton of cardio and minimal weightlifting. This kind of goes back to the myth mentioned before about not wanting to bulk up. But if you are someone who is looking to lose body fat, the best way to do it is through strength training or high intensity interval training. You also shouldn't be doing the opposite and completely eliminating cardio from your workouts. It's good to have a little balance of each. This next myth is that your weight determines your health. In some cases it can, but in many cases it doesn't. So when it comes to the number on the scale, it doesn't tell you how healthy you are as a person. I've met many people in my life who are just naturally skinny, but they eat terrible. They don't live a healthy lifestyle at all. They'll either be smokers or they'll eat really, really bad fast food for them all the time, like Burger King, McDonald's. And I've also met people who have been gaining weight due to something that they can't really control in their life, and they do live a healthy lifestyle. So back in high school, I had a gym teacher who really liked lifting weights to bulk up and for muscle and strength and all that. And they lived a very healthy lifestyle. They were active, they ate the right foods, but whenever they stepped on the scale, it would show as overweight. Now this gym teacher was short, so they were able to build on muscle, but because of the height and weight from the muscle, they would be considered overweight, even though they live a super healthy lifestyle, they work out regularly. So yeah, there are many other factors that come into play when considering if you are or aren't a healthy person, and weight is not the main or only one. This next one is that in order to lose weight, you need to drastically cut your calories. Now, this is a myth that can be very dangerous. When you drastically cut your calories for a short period of time, you will lose weight. A lot of that's due to water weight. I remember in high school, I had this friend during my freshman year, and they said something to me like, I'm only eating 1 meal a day, which, disclaimer, that is not healthy. Please do not do that. I said something probably along the lines of, oh, that doesn't really sound too healthy. Doesn't your body need fuel and food and calories in that? And they replied with something like, oh yeah, well, I've already lost 5 or 6 pounds. Now, that was the water weight that they were losing. When you're drastically cutting your calories for a long period of time, like eating 1 meal a day, that is going to do basically the opposite long term of what you want it to do. When you eat such scarcely food, like let's go back to the example of 1 meal a day. When you eat only 1 meal a day, your body kind of goes into like starvation mode. Yeah, sure, at first your weight will drop on the scale, but weight isn't everything when you want to lower your body fat. Your body would end up going into starvation mode and it would store the fat, and this makes it much harder to lose fat or gain any muscle. Remember, as I mentioned before, the more muscle you have, the easier it is to burn fat. Also, by drastically cutting your calories, especially long term, this can really screw up your metabolism. What you should focus on is making sure you're fueling your body and consuming enough calories for the day. And if you're someone who doesn't have access to a nutritionist, I'm gonna put a link down below of some resources to help you if you're starting out trying to figure out how much food you should eat and what you should be eating. This next one kind of ties into the previous one, and it's that by fasting before a workout, you'll burn more fat or lose weight. Now, disclaimer, I know that when eating a full meal right before working out, you can get stomach pains or just not feel good. I totally get that, but you also shouldn't be working out on a completely empty stomach. When you're working out, your body needs to be fueled in one way or another. So if you are working out and you fasted right before then, in order to continue working out, your body is going to pull energy from different sources. And one of these sources could unfortunately be your muscles, which you've probably worked really hard to get. It'll be much more of a benefit to eat something light 30 minutes or even an hour before your workout. This next myth is a little bit controversial, but it's you can get your dream body or lose weight by drinking this or eating this or doing this. And this is something that can be really problematic. Just as an example, let's take one of those fitness teas. I've seen all over Instagram claims that drink this tea and you'll get your dream body, and it has some influencer or someone like Kylie Jenner or someone holding a thing of tea and promoting it. There is no magic food or drink that will give you a dream body. A lot of these times, these influencers or famous people online have personal trainers of their own that they've hired and worked with, or in some cases, they've gotten surgery. Not to say that everyone on Instagram is plastic, but some people might be, some people have probably worked for it. You don't know. Also, a lot of these teas and foods and supplements can be really dangerous. This is because a lot of them aren't regulated by the FDA, and a lot of times these fans of these influencers or famous people are really young and impressionable. By people promoting these products, it can send the wrong message. And to be honest, if you want your dream body, you have to work for it. You have to put the work and effort in order to get it. It's not going to be something that will happen overnight, but over time, if you train correctly and eat the right foods and are just overall living a healthy lifestyle, the outcome will be so much better for you in general, and you will feel so accomplished. This next one is that the more you sweat, the more calories you will burn. Now, something I'm going to mention in this kind of bothers me. So online, I've always seen these shirts that when they're wet from either sweat or just water in general, they'll show a message saying like, oh, you can go home now, or training is over, something along the lines of that. And first of all, it's kind of cool that, whoa, we can have the technology to do that, but it's also gross because that whole t-shirt is just sweat. Nothing wrong with sweat, but anyway, I'm getting off on a tangent. But second of all, how much your body sweats does not determine how many calories you burned during a workout. As humans, we are all different. We were made different, we were born differently, we're just all different. Which means naturally we might sweat more than someone, we might sweat less than someone, it all depends. Think of that scene in Victorious. You know the beach day episode? You know what I'm talking about. It's the one where they're all in Beck's camper, like the one he lives in, and they brought it to the beach for that really hot day that school was canceled. And they all got locked in, and everyone was sweating at one point besides one character, Jade. Even though this is kind of an over-exaggeration, and even though they're kind of fictional characters, it still really goes to show you how everyone is made differently. So determining how many calories you actually burned during a workout or an exercise depends on many different things, like your own body weight, the exercises themselves, the intensity, the duration. There are many other things that go into how many calories you burnt, and sweat really isn't one of them. Next up on this list, I've kind of touched upon it already, but basically what I put down in my notes is crunches equal six-pack and squats equal butt. So let me just explain this one a bit more. Back in my early days of fitness, I would be scrolling through Pinterest, looking for workouts, inspiration, because I didn't really know as much as I know now, but that's besides the point. So I would often see many of these monthly challenges or workouts that only focused on abs or only focused on squats for your butt. And these would be titled with something along the lines of getting a six-pack or growing your butt. And they would show people who have really great abs or a really big butt, and they would be kind of conveying the message that if you do this, you will get this. A positive to these is that they do sometimes show you different workouts and different workouts to start incorporating, but doing these alone will not give you a Kim Kardashian ass. Now, knowing what I know now, there are many factors that go into it, like your genetics or your lifestyle choices, and those all play into it. This also kind of touches back upon spot reduction, but you can't just do 50 squats, get a big butt. That's not how it works. You have to work out your whole body. You can't choose where you lose fat and where you don't. By doing a bunch of abdominal exercises, you're not going to get the six-pack. But by losing your overall body fat and exercising, you will be able to achieve your goals. All right, we're almost at the end. This next one that I've heard is that it's best to go to the gym every day or have an all or nothing mentality. If you are going to the gym every day and you're working out every single day and you're not giving your body a rest at all, this could actually be doing more damage than good. By not taking a rest day, you could run the risk of overtraining. Your body and your muscles in general will just be way too tired and you won't be able to make gains or gain any muscle. And this could set you back from your fitness goals. So make sure you're giving yourself a rest day. All right, this one, if this isn't the most common one I've heard, I don't know what is, but it's that when you gain weight, you are gaining fat. This is totally not true. There are many factors that play into your weight, and especially for my females out there, your weight often fluctuates. Let's say that your goal is to lose body fat all over. Let's say that you've been training for a couple months, you feel real good, you're seeing more muscle definition, your clothes are fitting a little bit looser, but then when you step on the scale, you'll see that your weight is the same, or it went up, or it didn't really change much at all. A lot of times in society, when we say we want to lose weight, in reality, we really mean that we want to lose body fat. One of the best examples I've personally seen is the one where on the table they have 5 pounds of fat and then they have 5 pounds of muscle right next to each other. And if you look at the picture, you see, hey, they weigh the exact same amount. But if you look at the fat, it's taking up more room on the table than the muscle is. Now think of that in your body. You're losing body fat and you're gaining muscle. Let's say I lost 5 pounds of fat, but I gained 5 pounds of muscle. Well, the scale doesn't know that. The scale just weighs how much you weigh, which can be really deceiving and sometimes discouraging, I know. Rather than solely tracking your progress by your weight, it's better to take body measurements with a measuring tape or fat percentages with a fat calibrator. I know that's obviously not something common in everyone's household. I don't even have one, but most people do have a tape measurer for clothes. So by tracking your progress through measurements rather than solely on your weight, it can give you a better idea of your progress and how far you've come. I also mentioned before that your weight does fluctuate, and this can be dependent on many factors like your stress levels and hormones and etc., etc. When it comes to the female body, our hormones especially are always changing. And this is mainly just because of our cycles and all of that. All of those factors really contribute to your weight on the scale, but like I mentioned, the best way to track it is through a measuring tape because that's a better indicator, so to say. And this last final one, and it's a fun one that I kind of want to just sprinkle in. This one is that all sugar is bad for you. So quick little story time. I work at a summer camp during the summers, and when I was studying for my personal training test, I was learning all this new stuff, and I had learned about sugars and all that, and I heard one of the campers say, oh wait, there's fruit and sugar, that's bad for you. So then I was like, actually it's not. And they were so amazed by the fact. They were like, what? It's because we don't talk about it, but there are sugars in fruits and they're not bad for you, so to say. This topic itself could be a whole nother video. I might make it one day, who knows? But think of it this way. There's sugar in fruits and other types of foods that are natural. And then there are sugars in things like donuts and cookies and cakes. Now the reason that sugar is found in, let's say, an apple or an orange or any type of fruit, the reason that those are better for you is because that's them in their natural state. They're not derived from anything, and the sugars in apples and oranges aren't added into it. When you bake cookies or cakes, the sugar that you add into it is called free sugars. These are the sugars that are taken from their natural state and made into the granulated or powdered form. The reason that they're bad is because in these sweets and all that, they're put in excess amounts. Now trust me, I'm not saying to never eat a cookie or a cake again, that's just unhuman, but I just wanted to say that there is a difference. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope you learned something new from it today. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to see more fitness content from me, please subscribe. And also comment down below because I really want to know which one was the most surprising for you, or if you already knew some. I'll be posting new videos Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays for the time being. And if you miss seeing my face during the days that I'm not uploading on this channel, you can go over to my personal channel and check out some videos I have there. Alright, that's it for today. See you guys next time. Bye.